Hi, I'm Alex Rodriguez with Poolsmith Technologies, and today we're talking about Organic pH, our CO2 pH control system for residential pools. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We decided to make this video with some operating hints to help customers probably answer some questions, a lot of questions that we get, and just curiosity. A lot of people like to know this information, and it's going to help you with the operation of your system. First thing I want to do is I want to talk about just the face of the system, and so you know what each function is on here. Okay, so when you open up the system and you look at it, you're going to have your chart inside, and inside your chart it's going to tell you, based on how many gallons your pool is, what infusion setting that we want. Okay, this right here, it says infusion setting. Here's going to be your flow rate. Okay, flow 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, all the way to 5. Okay, the infusion setting is going to be how long we're going to put CO2 in the water. The flow rate is going to be at what volume we're going to put it in the water. So if you see here, you see there's a green light and a yellow light. Okay, this is very important. The green light, when you switch it to on, the green light comes on and lets you know that there's power to the unit. Once your pump turns on, the yellow light comes on, and you'll see the flow, the ball go up in the flow meter, and you're going to put it wherever it tells you, wherever it recommends you to set it. This client has 20,000 gallon pool, so we got a 192 setting right here in the infusion setting. And if you look at this, it's just as easy as just a little click little click counter. You can change it to what you need. This client is a 192 setting and a flow rate of 2 because he's 20,000 gallons. Oh, I believe it's 2.5. I apologize. So once you turn the system on, the yellow light's going to go off. You're going to see the ball go up in the flow meter. You're going to set it at 2.5. That's how you know that there's CO2 flowing into the system, into the pool. You're going to see the ball up on the flow meter, and you're going to see the yellow light on. Now, our system operates 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. So you're going to see the yellow light and the ball up for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you're going to see the yellow light go off and the ball's going to drop to 0. And then it's going to be off for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, it's going to turn back on. The yellow light's going to come on. The ball's going to go back up to your setting, 2.5, what you had it. Our system will operate 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off until it's done putting the amount of CO2 required for your size pool. Okay, so that's important to know because some people will call us or email us and say, hey, it works for 2 minutes and then it shuts off. It doesn't work anymore. So now you know it runs 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. Now, here's your on and off switch. And then here you have your 2 settings, your standard setting and your saver setting. Your standard setting is an injection every day of CO2. Your saver setting is an injection every other day of CO2. The saver setting is what's going to give you more life on those CO2 tanks between refills, okay? One important thing we covered in the instruction manual. If you're still confused, please reach out to us, but just want to talk real quick. I'm going to touch on synchronizing your pump with our system. So our system synchronizes with whatever runtime you clean your pump. And bear with me if this video gets a little long. This is information you need to have. So 2 types of pump run times. Somebody might run their pump from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Basically means it shuts off it shuts on at a certain time of the day and it shuts off at a certain time of the day. Okay, so once you do the install and you test and know everything's working, you're going to switch our system to off. If you run your pool from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it's 12 noon and you installed the system, everything works good, shut it off, let your pump run on automatic on its regular scheduled time. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon when your pump shuts off, or before 8 o'clock in the morning before the pump turns back on, you're going to switch our system to on. Basically, it's once you do that, our system is on standby for the next time your pump turns on. Our internal clock will synchronize, and our internal clock will know, hey, this pool cleans every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, so every day at 8 o'clock in the morning our system will turn on. If you run your pump 24 hours a day, whatever time of day you switch that on, if it's 1 o'clock, then at 1 o'clock every day. If it's at 7 o'clock in the morning, then at 7 o'clock in the morning every day, our system's going to turn on and inject. Especially running your pump 24 hours, you just got to know what time you want it to start injecting CO2. You come out, you turn it on, and then just leave it alone. It's plug and play. The internal timer is automatically set with your 24-hour pump. Now, if you're running your pump for 24 hours, more than likely you have a variable speed pump. Very important to remember, you can't run it for less than 2,000 RPMs, okay? If you run it for any speed less than 2,000 RPM, our system has an internal safety feature. It won't put CO2 in the water. So on your lowest speed, you want to run it at 2,000 RPM. I want to talk about our injector and our pressure plug. This long one is the injector. This is the one that puts CO2 into your pool, okay? This pressure plug is hollow, okay? This pressure plug gets screwed into the return line on your pump, and then we plug in our tubing here, and then the other end of this plugs into our unit. What this does is when your pump turns on, water is gonna shoot through this line and right here under the box to let the box know, hey, there's pressure in the pump. It's okay to inject. Okay. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of leaves. See how small that hole is? It's not often, but every now and then it'll happen. They'll get a little debris in here and it'll reduce the flow, so you won't see the yellow light come on and you're like, hey, the green light's on. Why is it not operating? There's gas in there, everything looks good. So if you get that, shut your pump off, right? All you gotta do is shut your pump off, and then what you wanna do is disconnect this line right here. And the way you do these, they connect just by pushing them in, and to take them off, you push here and you pop it out, and then you also disconnect the other one from the box and just simply blow air through it. Once the obstruction is out of the way, go back down by your pump, plug that in, plug this back into the bottom here, and then you can turn your pump back on. Boom, and then you should see the green and the yellow light come on, so now you know that there was an obstruction. It's just something good to remember. It hardly ever happens, but it drives some people crazy, so we wanted to touch on that, okay? I wanted to talk about the power unit. It's very important, just so you see the power unit. This is for outside. So if you don't have one of these on your power plug by your pool equipment, put one on. You want to keep the power unit away from the rain. It might short the power unit out. It won't mess up the box, but it'll definitely short the unit out, and then we'd have to send you a new one and your system wouldn't be operating. Last but not least, just a couple of quick helpful hints on the regulator, okay? This is our triple regulator hookup. If you see right here, there's your center tank. You're gonna hook that up to your center tank. This goes to tank number 2, and then that goes to tank number 3, okay? Very important, your kit's gonna come with washers. You gotta make sure you get those washers in here. If you don't put those washers in, they're gonna leak. So you make sure you put them in, then screw it into the system. The most important part is remember to keep them when you take your tanks off to refill them, okay? And then last but not least, the pressure gauge. We get a lot of calls on this, okay? When you hook up your tanks brand new, you're gonna get over 500 pounds of pressure, anywhere between 500 and 1,000. It depends on the time of day. If it's a very hot, like here in Arizona, with full tanks, it'll read close to 1,200 to 1,500 in the middle of 100 degrees outside, right? But in the wintertime, even though they're full, they'll read 500. We get a lot of calls that people say, hey, I installed it yesterday, it was 1,000. I checked last night, it was 500, I have a leak. You don't have a leak. The temperature is gonna change the pressure. The most important thing you gotta remember is when it gets to 500. When it gets to 500, the temperature won't change it that much, because now the tanks are starting to run empty, and then as you see it dropping down, as you see the CO2 dropping down to 0, you're gonna notice an increase in your pH. That's how you know it's time to change out the tanks. We appreciate you buying our system. Again, you have a 3-year warranty. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can reach us at poolsmith.com, organicph.com. Our phone number is on the website. We're happy to answer any questions. We hope this video is helpful. If you want any videos of anything else, please just shoot a comment on our website and we'll go from there. And of course, like we like to say it, remember, created by Mother Nature, developed by Poolsmith. Thank you.